strips is a digital representation of what you've got on an analog board. Everything is right here. If I select this channel, the channel strip section is right here. This is everything that pertains to this one channel that I've got selected. Whatever one I select, it'll adjust this section right here. On here, the first part that you've got is the bus assignment. So it lets you assign it to the left and right, or any of the groups, so any of the submixes that is there.
So what is bus?
The buses are separate mixes. It's basically destinations that you can send it to overall, send the whole signal to.
Okay.
So in our case here, we've got left-right mix, we've got a center cluster, and then we've got 8 different group mixes that we can send it to.
If I wanted to I'm doing live, but I also want to do MP3 or video, for the web.
That's actually I would do that a different way. I wouldn't use a bus mix. What I would do, the reason for bus mixing, what I would use them for, is for group assignment. So if I wanted to take all of the drums, put them together on one fader, I would assign all the drums to one group.
Okay.
And then take that group and assign it to the main, so that one fader I can adjust all of the drum mics, which gets really handy when you start getting 10 or 12 mics in one group.
Right.
Or like on a console like this, where you've got 96 different channels that we can work on. It comes in handy a lot. Directly below that, you've got the phantom power, phase, and a 20 dB pad per channel. So phantom power to send voltage to condenser mics and other mics that require it. The 20 dB pad, so if you're plugging, say, a guitar directly in and it's just entirely too loud, you can hit that 20 dB pad and it'll reduce it. And then the phase just swaps the phase. If you have a miswired mic cable, or if you have 2 mics that are too close together, you can swap phase on them, and it'll help the tonal quality.
Swap phase. What's that?
So that's every mic has a positive and negative coming in and out. If those are not in the right phase, or if they're opposite of each other, you run into problems. So it gives you the choice of being able to change that at will to solve some issues, especially with like choir mic. We would swap the phase on the center mic so that it's different and you're picking up better sound quality.
Okay, what would I hear if, let's say I had the wrong phase? What would I hear so that I would know that maybe that's the problem?
Most of the time, you're not going to notice too much of a difference, especially on a single microphone. Where you start noticing a difference is on multiple microphones, and it just starts sounding garbled.
And these are wireless.
Wired.
Wired.
This is all microphones. This is just the input on the channel strip.
Okay.
And then below that is the input gain. So, like we talked about with the analog mixer, it's the floodgate. It lets how much signal is going to go through to the rest of everything else. On this console, we've got a delay. So on each channel, I can put a delay. We use it for processing on, like when we go out for the ceiling speakers in the hallway. We delay those almost a second and a half because that's how far behind the video is, so that audio matches video. There are a lot of other applications where you want a little bit of delay, and it's very much a everything else. It delays the signal that's coming into the board. Below that, you've got a high pass filter.
Okay, it delays what's coming in, not what's going out.
It delays the signal coming into the board. Below that, you've got a high pass filter, which will take the bottom end of the sound out. It passes frequencies that are above the frequency that it's set at.
Why would you want to take out the lower end?
So if you say you have a flute mic's not producing anything down in 100, 200 hertz.
Right.
I want to get rid of the noise that's down there. I take that high pass filter. Another one is fluorescent tubes. You get that nice 60 cycle hum. You can dial that up to 60 cycle and get rid of that hum. Below that is the pan, left, right. So for its assignment to the main cluster or any other stereo outputs, it'll pan it left or right. The next section here is all of the aux sims. The aux sims
Auxiliary.
are your monitor mixes. On this console, we've got 16 aux sends or 8 stereo aux sends. They can be configured either way. I'm not sure how Cody has them set up this semester, but they let you put a small amount of signal or a lot of signal. They let you control it to up to 16 different places. So it's for like floor wedges, or if you had a recording mix that you wanted to do, you could do it off of an aux at the board, so you can control how much of it's going to that mix to blend it. Next to that is the EQ section. On this one, it's a 4-band with a sweepable mid and adjustable Q. Let me show you the EQ up here. If you look on the screen, that's the graphic representation of it. If I adjust the frequency, you see the box down there, they're moving. Let me give it a little again. So it's adjusting where that frequency is. And you can see how it's affecting the sound on the graph there. Above that, it lets you determine how wide that sweep is. So you can go from really wide to really narrow.
Which means what as far as?
So the difference there is if it's really wide, it's taking out or adding a whole lot of different frequencies. If I narrow it all the way down, it's doing a very narrow notch. So if I have one frequency that's feeding back on me really bad, I can narrow that down, dial that frequency in to where it's just removing that frequency. Beyond that, we've got the insert processing. On this board, we've got DSP, and allows us to do plugins like extra compression, extra EQ. We've got a multi-band compressor that we use on a lot of mics, like the choir mics, that just helps get some more of that clarity and work with them.
Okay, EQ. Is it better to use on the analog board, which is what most churches are going to have? They have a high, middle, and low. Is it better to use those or to have an external EQ where you can do specific frequencies?
If you can afford an external EQ and get one for certain things, it's beneficial. For mics that tend to feed back on you a lot, having an external EQ where you can do a little bit more work with narrower frequency bands to get some of that to go away. But for most, and for like here, we've got